In this video, I played Bedwars, but I could not do any damage at all. This was a ton of fun recording, so I hope you guys like it. Let's get into it. On my first game, I didn't really have a plan. The only thing I knew was to not die and not deal any damage. Since Green was building his own defense, that gave me time to build something of my own, but I failed at it. So my plan changed. I decided to go to mid and probably hide there. I had about half a stack of blocks by the end of this bridging, and I felt like those were enough. Before I ran away, I decided to snag some of these diamonds so that Green doesn't get any. This had no particular reason except for making Green stay worse. And that was a very risky move by me, because I didn't have any time to bridge without him knocking me out. I tried shifting, but he ignored. Now that I'd respawned, my plan remained the same. I was probably gonna go to red or gray base and just stay around there. I saw Green bridging up to me. He was probably coming up to break my bed, but that's okay. Additionally, at this point, I made one of the worst decisions I could have in this game. I forgot to buy blocks. I didn't have anywhere to go without blocks. I couldn't bridge anywhere. I only had one block which I broke. At this point, I really needed to buy some more blocks. The only base I could go to was green, so I broke some of the blocks I had already placed, or actually Green had already placed, and I tried towering up so that I could go to green base, but Green knocked me out. On game 2, I was on Skyrise. My hopes were up. I was feeling pretty confident. Graydon said, please no sweater. And I agree with him. It's the summer. It gets quite sweaty. At this point, with my 31 iron, I decided to buy as many blocks as I could. This time, my strategy was a bit more passive. I was gonna build some cool symbols so that other people won't mess with me. I then quickly began constructing a heart because that was one of the things that came to my mind. I bought some more materials and I began perfecting my heart. It was turning out pretty good. It kinda looked like Mickey Mouse, but it still looked very symmetrical. I didn't know what to do at this point, but I remembered I had a ton of coal left. So I began construction on a peace sign. This was a bit more challenging since circles are harder to make. But at the end, I'd say it looked pretty good. This game was going really good. White also built a heart for me. That felt pretty nice. I still had a ton of blocks left, and now as anyone would, I began construction on a totally meaningless platform. About half the teams had gone, and everything was going very peacefully. I didn't have anything to worry about. Everyone was minding their own business. Nobody had come for me. After following the void, I decided to do something else since the platform was getting a bit boring. I began practicing my speed bridging. On my way back, I decided to check out the view. Blue was actually at my base and he broke my bed. He started killing me, but then he stopped. I think he understood me shaking my head no. I begged for peace, and I asked him for no war in the game of Bedwars. He also started shifting at me. I knew this plan was gonna succeed, but out of nowhere he started murdering me. But White showed me his affection like he did before, and he gave me some sad faces. In game 3, I decided to change my plans. Blue team then asked who's good here, and I was gonna say I, cause I am. But since I cannot deal any damage, I said not me. After a while, Gray replied that he's not sweaty. Green also replied that he's not either. Gray tried to invalidate my claim, but it's okay. I'm still gonna stick to non-violence. I bought some wool, and my plan this game was to not just stay at my base. It was to go around islands to islands and stay around there. Going to other islands would have a less likelihood of me getting killed. I quickly began construction on a heart, since that worked out pretty good for me last game. I was feeling very well and I was building my heart, but then out of nowhere, Green came and broke my bed. I was very disheartened at this, since Green at the start of the game said that he wasn't good. Now, with Green trying to kill me, and me having no option to kill him, my only plan was to wait for somebody to save the day. Aqua then came to the rescue. Here I was really hoping that Aqua would take care of Green, but Green was much more superior at PvP and he knocked him to the side of my base. Then Green went down and finished off Aqua. I really didn't know what I was supposed to do at this point, so I began constructing my heart again. I was feeling pretty good and I was having fun. But then, out of nowhere, Blue came and knocked me into the void. But that's okay, I decided to move on. This time, I was on Acropolis. I had a few blocks, and with these blocks, I was gonna make a really quick heart. and then rush off to mid. But then I noticed that blue was coming for me. I tried asking him not to by shaking my head no, and he listened. He started going back to his base. I then took a good look at my heart, because it had worked. Blue was retreating. I then went to my base, because I needed a few more blocks if I was to hide at mid. I was peacefully buying my blocks, but then out of nowhere blue came and started attacking. Game 4 ended. Now I was on speedway, which meant that I had to speedrun. Here my plan was pretty straightforward. I would not waste any time building random things like a heart or a peace sign. I would directly go to mid and hide there. After I had all the resources I needed, I started making my way to mid, walking fast. I tried to speed bridge as fast as I could so that I could reach quicker. At this point, blue hadn't even left their base, so I was feeling very confident about this. I quickly went and snagged some diamonds, and I planned to go to gray base. I don't really know why I decided to go to gray base instead of staying around at mid. Being at mid would feel a lot better, but since the dream music was playing, I had to clutch. I started bridging to gray base. I was gonna snag some of these diamonds and run off to mid, or some other base, but gray started following me. I blocked him off and tried to clutch, but I failed. My next game was on Cascade, and I was feeling very good about this since someone said that there was a drippy imposter among us. After that terrible joke, I really needed to run away from my base. I couldn't show my face here anymore. I quickly began covering my bed, and I headed to mid. I quickly fell down with like 3 stacks of wool. This unfortunately gave green a lot of time to come to my base and break the bed. Luckily, since this was Cascade, I could pretty much block clutch to almost any location in mid. And that's what I started to do. It was going very well. My plan was to get emeralds and diamonds so that other people don't get them. But green catched up to me and I died right there. The next game, I was on Acropolis again. Yellow came to me within seconds of starting the game. This was not good. I accepted my demise. Now on this game, I needed to calm down a bit. And Aqua gave me a good compliment. And Gray quickly wished a good game. With my now immensely calm state of mind, I thanked him. Orchestra is a map where games go fairly quickly, so this was looking very good for me. My plan was really just hiding at my base since this was a good map for that. Gray then complimented my level again. I was feeling very stoked about this. I began breaking my tracks so that I could go on top of my base and hide there before Blue would come and break my bed. He hadn't spotted me yet, and I would have a very high chance of succeeding this time. He got my bed, but that's alright, I'm already at the top of the base. I was hoping that he wasn't smart enough to check the top. Then, out of nowhere, Aqua decides to undermine Gray's message. First of all, he was lower in stars than me. I couldn't stand this. I needed to formulate a response. I needed to tell him who the big man here was. I told him that he was talking about me and not him. While I was typing the message, I also found this pretty cute little house here. I wanted to stay around this house for the rest of the game. Then Aqua comes again and says it's just 3 stars more. First of all, he's wrong. And second of all, even though it's 3 stars, I'm still more stars than him. My goal right now was to just wait around here till everyone killed each other, so that I would be the only one left. I could see everyone doing their own thing, like Yellow collecting diamonds, and other teams bridging to each other. It was also kind of funny to see Blue walking around clueless of where I was. After a bit, I decided to cover up my tracks, because it was pretty far in the game. I didn't want to lose just because I forgot to cover these up. This game was going significantly better than almost all the other games that I played it. It was also one of the most enjoyable. Finally, then Aqua died and me and Yellow were the only 2. We both were finals, so I proposed him a deal. I first greeted him, then I asked him for a deal. I was feeling pretty happy. I was gonna win this. He was reading this for a good time, so I knew that he agreed with it. He started heading on over to my base, feeling very enthusiastic. He was jumping very high and he was coming rather quickly. He was here to shake hands and make the deal. The deal was obviously me winning and him disconnecting. He then went right in my base, trying to shake hands with me to secure the deal. I also heard him pop a potion, just to feel confident about the deal. He came up, but then I noticed that he had a sword in his hands. He really wanted to shake hands, but he forgot that he had a sword. That's where I died. Unfortunately, I couldn't win this time, but if you guys really like it, I'll probably make a part 2 soon. Thanks.